Hello friends, welcome all, one and all and everyone, boy, girl, black, white, purple. Got a gameplay for you today, and I don't know if you guys saw, but I finally put a video up on Nation, and I was sort of pleased with it, but I was sick of waiting. Like, I've been trying for so long, I've been putting it off, putting up a gameplay. I don't know, just because I really want to be associated. I want to be, or I guess, you know, viewed as like a good commentator, but I don't know, my gameplay I feel like it's not the style that people like to see because I move pretty slow. But like I don't like Diesel, like, you know, someone like Diesel who's just, you know, constantly running around all the time, which, you know, makes for interesting gameplay. But
friendly care package on the way.
I figured it was finally time because Hex has been telling me for a while, you know, man, you need to post on Nation. So I did it, and I actually got that gameplay a little bit right after this one, which would have been really good, but I had idiot teammates and we ended up losing. I think I went 59 and like 12 or something. And
our counter spy planes in the air.
but anyway, I figured somebody might, and I edited out. There was like some slow parts where I died a couple times in a row and stuff, so I edited out like the slow parts. But
Securing C.
I get something back my throat. Anyway. Yeah, check this out. Jump over the fire because it looks cool. Like in the action moves, even though it wasn't. It was my team's napalm strike. But here is a little more M60 rapage, however you want to pronounce it. I had an interesting thing that happened today to me when I was at school, and I was like, I'm going to talk about this in a commentary. And many of you, you know, if any of you have seen my videos dealing with political subjects, you know that I'm of the liberty persuasion, sort of a, you know, libertarian. I mean, I don't know if I fall completely in that category because I'm not really sure all of their, you know, points, you know, that they draw, because I feel like I might differ from them on abortion and certain things, but essentially I consider myself a libertarian. And we were in my philosophy class today. We were discussing political philosophy. And there's a man by the name of John Thomas Mills, I think his name is John Thomas Mills, something like that. Anyway, his writings are basically the foundation of the Libertarian Party. And for those of you who don't know what a libertarian is, it's essentially the limited government intervention in any facet of someone's life, you know, period. And we were talking about essentially Mills' philosophy is that the only right that the government has to interfere in your life the only time when that's acceptable is when you interfere in someone else's life, and it is the role of the government to stop you from interfering in someone else's life. So, you know, it seemed though the professor was leaning towards that, you know, this was a good idea, and of course, you know, I happen to subscribe to that certain philosophy, so I brought up, I don't know, it depends on what state, you know, everyone lives in, but in several states, Florida being one of them, the state I live in, it's in a restaurant, it is illegal to smoke. That is, you can't allow for a smoking section, or, you know, you have to smoke outside, essentially. You can still do it in bars, although it came pretty close at one point in the legislature. They almost got it passed where you can't smoke in a bar, but you can't smoke in a restaurant in the state of Florida. And I made the assumption that was not in keeping with Millsian philosophy, that it is not, you know, the government can't rule, you know, can't decide for you how you run your life, and that, to me, that includes how you would run a business, say your own business. If you have a restaurant and you want to allow people to smoke in it, I am of the opinion that you should be able to do so. And then I was speaking to my professor, and we sort of had a debate on this in class, and he told me that he said that it's in the same, like, smoking bothers people, and it's secondhand smoke, you know, messes with people, and, you know, or you know, whatever the arguments are against it. I'm assuming most of you secondhand smoke, whatever. But I said, well, I mean, that's a valid point, but my answer to that would be, you know, go somewhere else that doesn't allow smoking. You know, and he said, oh, you can't do that. If you open a business into the public domain, you know, you have to cater to the public. And he's brought up, like, you know, you can't ban gays, and you can't ban black people or women or whatever from coming into your place of business. And that kind of, okay, I understood, you know, what he was saying, but I feel like comparing letting smokers in, or rather leaving smokers out of your business to, you know, whether or not you can let black people in, I felt like that was a bit of a far reach. And what surprised me even more is how most of the people in the class were you know, agree with him. And there was a kid who said that he called me an idiot for sharing that philosophy, and I think that's a pretty strong suggestion to make, that, you know, I feel you should be able to run your business however you want. I don't you know, think that would make me an idiot. So anyway, the point of this little story was since I have the luxury of having a sizable audience, I would like to know what you guys think. You know, what is your political philosophy in terms of government intervention, what the government, you know, can and can't do, and or if that guy was right, you know, if I'm an idiot. So thanks for watching, guys, and let me know.